Welcome back viewers. This is Politics Today, hapa Science TV. For the sake of our hearing impaired viewers, tutapeleka polepole Nicholas. Because we've gotten a comment that they want us to go a little bit slower, ndio hata hao pia wafuate hii conversation. You know, so we want to be inclusive. How see you, Nicholas? We are with Nicholas Oyo, Secretary General, Free Kenya Movement. We are just finding out, you know, what do we do? The Mwananchi seems to be alone. My name is JONAH SIMBA. By the way, my name is the powerful JONAH SIMBA. Tell me I'm powerful on 0111980384. Send out a Merry Christmas, prosperous New Year to somebody. It can be a politician. It can be a Mwananchi somewhere. It can be to Science TV. That number 0111980384. Send out a shout out. It's Christmas season. It's New Year season. So happy holidays kutoka kwetu.
Yes, Jonah.
Nicholas.
Happy holidays.
By the way, Aurora and Kimorer. Wow. Who is going to defend the Mwananchi? Tell me something. You are in the civil society. What is happening?
Jonah, it is unfortunate that, and you heard the statement from the civil society, and Free Kenya agrees with what they said. We are part of that statement. It is unfortunate that this was basically what you call a prosecutor-led kind of removal of this engagement. Because, Jonah, the issue is that the prosecutor, or rather the prosecution, did not give enough should I call it, meat for this thing to run further.
Right.
And this is, Jonah, the question. They had listed 46 people for them to basically ask questions. They said that they only talked about 8. They asked the 8, and then they said they don't have questions for the other 30-something people. How do you do that? How did you list
bring
your
that
witnesses?
again? Bring that again. Explain.
Some of the questions that we're asking, and as a civil society,
right?
We're asking the question this way. You had over 41 people who were supposed to be witnesses,
right,
of this issue of Kimoror and Aurora, and you had listed them as going to be your witnesses, and then you end up only interviewing 8 of them,
right?
And the rest you say that you don't have questions for them.
But then the issue,
why did you list them originally?
Your representative, I don't know who is that who spoke from the on behalf of civil society, but I remember seeing
Malombe, yes.
Malombe spoke. There's another lady, I think, from one of those, and several other organizations.
Yes.
And the thing that kept coming up was lack of trust for the office of ODPP.
DPP?
Director
of Public Prosecutions.
Yeah.
That is where we are having a problem, Jonah, because we feel that the ODPP has decided, the Director of Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions,
right,
has decided to basically lose cases using the office.
So you feel that is deliberate? You feel that is deliberate?
We are convinced it is deliberate, and I've given you some of the things that we feel.
Yeah.
You list witnesses. You say that I have 41 witnesses, Jonah, to basically ensure that this case goes through. And then you end up saying that I only have questions for 8. The rest, I have decided not to ask them any question. What is that kind of prosecution are you doing? How did it change? Because when you listed 41 people, there was a reason you wanted 41 people to come and give evidence. Then you end up saying that you can only do with 8. So, Jonah, we feel that...
So is this some kind of case fixing, for lack of a better word?
It is,
these cases have to lose.
We are saying this is a prosecutional-driven, basically, removal of that, which is very unfortunate, Jonah, that we are getting a situation where it is the prosecution case that becomes weak. It is not the defense that has become strong, which is unfortunate, Jonah. We are saying that we want to prosecute any case of corruption and ensure that it is pushed. So Mwananchi is left wondering where we are going, because we find a situation where even the clergy, they've started speaking. I agree that the clergy has begun to become strong, and they've started talking like the clergy we used to know, but then they've not reached there. even us in the civil society, we have a bit of some push here and there to get to a point where we used to be. So
when you say they have
to
now started talking like the clergy, you know, what do you mean?
Jonah, there used to be a time when we had people like Henry Okulu. Okulu, yes, we had people like
Alexander
Muge.
Right.
We had people like those who could speak. Ndigi Mwana Nzeki. These were people who could speak from the pulpit and basically talk about the issues in a manner that basically says the truth. They used to speak the truth to power. We are having a situation where this is a government that basically came through as a quote-unquote Christian kind of government. And so a lot of these people in the clergy participated in pushing for this government to go in. So
and that time the Mwananchi was not left alone. You
at that time it was a hustler narrative, and Mwananchi was being sold as the person who is going to be in the center of this this administration. What has happened, Jonah, over the last 1 year is shocking, really, because the change that has happened is that the hustler has lost a lot in the engagements over the last one year.
Right.
So we are saying this, that the hustler is continuing to lose, even in cases that we had already captured some interest to pursue, to make sure that corruption is fought. And this is one of those cases that Kimora and Aror was something that somebody even said, that the money that was lost is little. We remember these statements, John.
Right.
We remember 7 million is not a lot. We remember 7 billion is not a lot. We remember these statements. So the reality is that when you have that kind of a scenario where nobody is getting convicted over some of the corruption cases that have happened, then what are we basically saying to corruption? We are telling corruption, welcome, you can have your way, and you can always find your way around even court cases when you can buy the prosecutor. You don't have to buy the judge anymore. There's a saying that says,
right,
if you can't afford a lawyer, buy the judge. Now this one looks like, if you can't afford the lawyer, buy the prosecutors. We are really feeling unfortunate with this matter, and other matters also. Jonah, we've seen cases that have been there before, and now they've started looking like we are losing a lot of cases in court.
So even without the civil society, we wouldn't have known this as the Mwananchi of this country, right?
Yeah, it's true. We are pushing, we are trying to do what we have to do. We are trying to push our issues to ensure that Kenyans know what is happening, and we hope that Kenyans can support some of these things to ensure that we don't allow people who have got proceeds from corruption to go and use those proceeds again to get elected. Jonah, the last elections, you find that somebody uses 100 million to be elected as a member of parliament, Jonah.
Right.
200, 300 million as a governor, Jonah. These guys are going to earn less than 60 million over 5 years. What are we telling Kenyans? We are saying that if you have money, you can basically buy anything, including buy yourself into parliament, buy yourself into whatever.
Definitely, when they get in there, they have to find ways of bringing back the 300 million.
It becomes unfortunate, because what it means is that everything that is going to be happening behind the scenes is going to be them trying to recover what they used, Jonah. And it is very unfortunate when you talk about a business kind of an arrangement where you are saying that I've spent 200 million, so I need to get back my 200 million, and I need to get another 200 million to go and do the same in the next elections, and maybe make a profit out of all this. So Jonah, what are we setting ourselves up for as a people? And that's why we are saying that it is time that the people now came out and decided to say enough is enough. In other countries they've come out. In Kenya we have the Constitution, Article 257, as we are talking as Free Kenya. We are saying that what we are pushing is also similar to those. It's only that ours can be done constitutionally. In other countries, they've had to go to the streets. Even here, we've gone to the streets, maandamanos.
Right.
But then the maandamanos have had their own problems, because there's always been an issue where you are saying that if we do the maandamano, some people are going to lose businesses, and some business is going to be disrupted. So we are saying that we can do it constitutionally if Kenyans are willing to come together and unify.
So you are not seeing us, the Mwananchi going back for maandamano. You're not seeing the country in 2024 getting into maandamano?
I don't think maandamano is the answer, Jonah.
Do you think the opposition is smart enough to come up with ideas on what to do? Because when the Mwananchi is left alone and you're not undermannering, okay,
yes,
English is fluid.
Yeah.
What I mean, who will listen? Who will listen? Because we've had the bipartisan talks, and they have just ended, and you can see it ended sort of quote unquote in disarray. There is still, people rejecting the document. So when it gets there, what happens?
Jonah, what you're saying...
What happens when the Mwananchi has no other voice to speak through?
I think the Mwananchi now has to come out and take over the space. And
they
this
have
is
already
where
elected people. It will be a rogue. It will be
Jonah,
Banana Republic.
We have the Article 257, and us as Free Kenya, we are pushing for Article 257.3. Our referendum is under Article 257.3, where we have a general question. So that we are going to have a convention when we have collected 1 million signatures for Wananchi to come and talk their issues, so that we are going to get the bill from that convention. And so, Jonah, it is time for Wananchi to start saying that this is the time to come out and basically recover your country, because the country has been lost to this question of people who have money and can basically buy their way into power and buy their way out of court when they have problems and buy their way in everything and all manner of things. So we must find a way, Jonah, that as a country we find a solution, and the solution must begin now, that we as a people also need to come and say the people-centric kind of an arrangement that this constitution is talking about. When the constitution says all sovereign authority belongs to the people of Kenya, and they can exercise this sovereignty either directly or indirectly through elected representatives. That is the first article of this constitution, Jonah. And so it means that the people need to now come out and say that this issue that we said we are sovereign, let us now show our sovereignty. It is time now for the people not to be coward.
Who will listen to that?
It is time to come out.
Come on, who will listen to that? You show your sovereignty. Where? How?
We have...
I mean, where do you place? Do you intend to do the bill and then put it at the tables in front of the parliament for the parliamentarians to take it in?
Jonah, this is what it means.
Where will you bring it? Who will listen?
We are going to push it under Article 257, which is going to be 1 million signatures from Kenyans. We believe that we don't have to do 1 million. We can do 10 million of those signatures, Jonah. We don't have to do
ODM has already collected, Azimio has over 10 million.
They said that their signatures are going to be for removing Ruto from power, so I don't know where they took their signatures. But Donna, as our signatures as Free Kenya, we are going to take them to Chebukati. No, Chebukati is gone now. We are going to take them to IBC. To IBC.
Maybe to one Marjan.
I think Marjan is still there as a secretary, as a CEO of IBC.
Right.
We are going to take them to IBC, John. And when we take them to IBC, we expect Kenyans to come out in each of the county assemblies that we collected signatures. We expect Kenyans to go and tell those MCAs that either you decide to work with the people or you side with the elite. And if you side with the elite, we are waiting for you in 2027. We are going to send you home, whether you bring the moon to us or whether you bring what. This thing is going to become a matter that you're going to send you home with. So, Jonah, the people don't have... it's so not that when people don't have an option.
Let's say it has landed in IEBC. What next?
Once it lands in IBC, it will be taken through the county assemblies. Once they confirmed that there's 1 million signatures...
Oh, so it's the referendum.
It is a referendum. It's now going to go to the county assemblies. And that's why I'm saying that if the people are serious, they will go to those county assemblies and basically tell those MCAs, if you want to fight with us as the people, be ready. We are going to come at you. And we are going to come at you in 2027, and we are going to send you home kabla asubuhi ifike. If you go against the people's agenda. Because the people's agenda is that agenda we are pushing, abolishing taxes on basic and essential commodities. On basic and essential commodities under Article 43. Because Article 43 has been there for the last 13 years. No government has put resources allocation for Article 43.
And what's this Article 43 about?
Article 43 talks about what we are saying that the people's it is an issue that is social and it's called social and economic rights. And these social and economic rights are rights that were said that under the Bill of Rights are rights that are going to be basically guaranteed by the government putting in allocations. And some of these things are education. Some of these things are healthcare. Some of these things are food and sanitation. Some of these things are those kind of issues. So we are saying that under Article 43, which we have now taken and said that we have identified 15 items that we are going to use as Article 43 items. We are going to bring them in. And these items are the items that are going to secure Mwananchi, whichever government comes in, not just this Kenya Kwanza administration.
Right.
Even other governments that come in, they will, when they want to take taxation, they will have a situation that they don't take taxation to the point that people are going to die hungry because they've taken away money that is going to buy food, or made food very expensive for people to afford, made transport very expensive for people to go and basically meet the others so that they can do deals, make cost of production very high so that factories and workshops and jobs and other establishments are basically too expensive to run, so they end up being stopping to operate. So we are saying that these issues are issues that are Mwananchi issues, and these are the hustler issues.
Right.
And those are the issues that as Free Kenya we are saying we are going to push them and ensure that Kenyans now, when they come together, we can push this matter and make sure that it gets where it's supposed to go. So we hope that Wananchi are going to be part of this, support this, and ensure that for once we come together and basically ensure that we change the constitution and make it a people's constitution.
I hear you very much addressing the issue of cost of living. Very contentious, very vague.
Yes.
In fact, the Kenya Kwanza group said it should not be on table for the discussions during the bipartisan talks. Thinking about it, moving towards 2027, Azimio probably are going to use that cost of living as their main agenda to campaign themselves into power. But now the question lies, who is genuine in this?
It's going to be hard to see who is genuine because even when Azimio are talking about cost of living, there's a lot of questions as to how they themselves have dealt with some of the things. A part of Azimio was Jubilee government, and they are the ones who basically, when we had the VAT bill, it is Jubilee that was in power at that time. And so it is a question that this political elite seem not to have answers for the people, the Wananchi. And so it is time for Wananchi to come out and basically ensure that some of those answers that Wananchi themselves have are brought to the front, because we need to ensure as Wananchi, this is our country. It is us who basically are the shareholders.
Let me ask you a very plain question. In your opinion, what are the genuine marks of a proper champion for the people? Because you seem to rule out ODM.
I'm not ruling them out. I'm rather worried about the history that they've had.
Of course, we are talking about the civil society and the clergy here and their role.
Yes.
But we are aware of how things happened in the past. You remember 2005?
Yes.
When we had the likes of Willie Mutunga, who came all the way into becoming Chief Justice.
Yes.
And yet they were in the activists. You know, they were part of the civil society.
Yeah, they were activists and became
they ended
the first
up in
CJ
power.
in the country.
Yes, those were fruits of you know, the civil society. But when they came in there, what change did they make? Is the civil society, the clergy, who is genuine here? What are the genuine marks of a true champion for the Mwananchi?
Jonah, a true champion.
Kenya Kwanza, they came in with a hustler narrative.
Yes.
You remember?
Basically championing about the issues of Wananchi, hustler narrative.
As soon as they entered power,
something changed.
Yes.
So became the...
So where is this genuine meter?
Jonah, the truth of this matter is that it's Wananchi that must basically become vigilant. It is Wananchi that must basically ask questions. You will only know this when you basically sit down and say, oh, you are telling us that you're going to do this, how are you going to do it? Wananchi must reach a point of not being taken into some sort of, I don't know, it is a frenzy during elections. Mm-hmm. So you have a situation that where an election is about, and these days it has changed. We used to have campaigns where they used to go to stadiums and what have you and meet people. Now it is like it is a vehicle moving around and they are just going into town centers and basically giving address and going. We have to reach a point that we ask questions. I know that we had the questions about, we had the debate, the big debate among the presidential candidates. And we know what happened with the debate. Somebody did not turn up, another turned up, and all this stuff. So we must reach a point, Jonah, that as Wananchi, we table questions for these people and we ask them how they are going to achieve, number one. Two, what are the timelines? Three, what are the indicators that they've achieved and not? Four, how will we know we are going the right direction? These are some of the strategic questions that Wananchi need to ask and have them so that when these people come into office, you have a place where you're saying, this is how it is going, and this is where we expect it, this is the timelines we are looking at, and if anything is not working, we begin to ask ourselves, how do we change that? Or how do we remove some of these people?
Yeah, the other day, the president had an interview, you know,
yes,
with the press.
Yes, yes.
And something came out that was, well, is it shocking anymore? When he spoke about, a question was put to him, how long is this going to take? And you remember the president saying that, this thing, for it to move into becoming money in the pocket and food on the table, and, you know, the media was asking, when is this? He said, no, I can't give you a timeline. That's what the president said. Yet when the campaigns were going on, you remember the word Biblia?
Yes,
Ikiguza?
Yes. Ikiguza chini.
Now the question is, what happens, you know, when this happens? Are you seeing 2024 really yielding some results for the people?
Jonah, I think...
what happens when fuel hits 1,000 shillings? By the way, fuel came down in the world market by 32 shillings.
Yeah, but in Kenya it came down by 5 shillings. Yeah, it is...
So who defends the Mwananchi?
So Jonah, the question that Mwananchi must realize is that when you elect a president, and you end up electing the person that is in the party of the president, and you hope that you are going to get support. If the executive and the parliament are all saying they are from, say, like now in this administration, it is Kenya Kwanza administration, they have majority in parliament, and they have also majority, they have the state house. And also in some parts in governance, you find that there is going to be an ODM. Kenyans must reach a point that they don't just elect somebody just because he has been proposed by a certain party. You must say that this person, if he goes there, is he going to champion our needs, our rights, our issues, or is going to champion the issues of the others? And that is the most important thing that Kenyans must ask themselves. When you look at the nomination list, how many people in the... I'll give you an example of what I've always been saying. The failures of Jubilee, I've always said, are the failures of the members of parliament of Jubilee who never pushed their president enough to ensure that what he said in campaigns is what is being delivered. The failures of Kenya Kwanza government are going to be the failures of the Kenya Kwanza members of parliament and members of the county assemblies, who basically are saying that this is our government and protecting the government throughout everything that is happening, without basically
it goes deeper when it gets into tribe.
Because you see, the question must be talking about oversight. When you are elected as a member of parliament or a member of county assembly, number one job is oversight. Oversight who? Oversight the government that you're saying is your government. So what it means is that you are supposed to go and ensure that your government is doing what it said it's supposed to do. If it's not doing, and I want to congratulate one of those legislators, Gadoni wa Mushomba, who basically said that this finance bill that you brought is not going to take us where we said we are taking Wananchi as Kenya Kwanza. And she went against the finance bill. I hope others would have taken that same stand. So this is what you're saying, Jonah. if you are electing people, you must say that this person, I have listened to him, I have asked him questions or her, I have listened to what they're saying, they have said they're going to do this, and they're going to do 1, 2, 3, 4 under these timelines, and this is what we expect to see at every point.
I think we should call this show today the genuine marks of a political champion. Agreed?
Yeah, I think that should be the
Nicholas Oyo, Secretary General, Free Kenya Movement. Merry Christmas and a prosperous New Year.
Merry Christmas to you also, Jonah, and to the viewers.
Yeah, we hope we have a smooth year.
Let's
a lot of things to be done in 2024.
2024 is going to be rough, I can assure you, but we are going to we are resilient. We are going to make it. We are
just be careful. Someone may comment and not call you a prophet of doom.
No, it's not being a prophet of doom. Sometimes you just see where the vehicle is going and you know that there is a cliff for there and you need to avoid the cliff.
Viewers, we have come to the end of politics today. 2024 has a lot. Just share with us, what are your hopes for the new year politically? We need to talk about these things. Keep on sharing with us the genuine marks of a political champion. Are you feeling cheated, or are you feeling like you know who can defend you truly when it comes to leadership? See you next week on Politics Today. Hapa tunachapa siasa. Bye-bye.